G'day everybody and welcome to another DUC Migrating to Australia podcast. My name's Wes Zandt and today I'm joined by James and Demi Clancey. So James and Demi, welcome.
Hi Wes.
Hi Wes, how are you, mate?
Good. So guys, this is a bit of a podcast with a little bit of a twist. I'm actually quite good mates with these guys. I see him a little bit. James was just telling me he manages one of the football teams and he played down our way on the weekend, but I had a basketball game for my son. We missed each other, but he was saying that they were slide tackling and all sorts. And yeah, a bit of an abandoned game, James. Wasn't ideal, mate?
Quite an aggressive game, mate. Yeah, it reminded me of being back home in the Northwest, but yeah, it was good. I actually enjoyed it, but the other parents are getting quite agitated by it. What can I say?
Yeah, that's it. All right. Well, look, guys, welcome. So, James and Demi, this is, if I'm stand corrected, in December will be your 10th year. You'll be starting your 10th year as a permanent resident of Australia. Is that correct?
Yeah. So we landed here on the 3rd of December.
Absolutely,
2014.
Yeah. Get the champagne out, Wes. It's all because of you.
Yeah, we're now citizens.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
It's just so quick, like it just vanished. Even just hearing that out loud.
But you guys are so young. How old are you now, James?
37. Thank you for saying that.
So,
and I'm 35. So let's just
there you go. No, but that's important, guys. So let's go back. Let's go right back to the very beginning. All right. So you're 24, 20, 26, whatever it is. Yeah. You know, thinking about I don't know, plans and everything like that. And how did Australia come up?
I have this conversation quite often, actually, because I work with some apprentices and stuff. And how did you end up here? And obviously expats as well. My recollection of it is there was a tube strike in London. I was working in London, which meant I had to get the train home. And it was like November time. And I was sat outside the bus stop outside your office, Wes.
Oh, the old Down Under Centre building.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was like November. It was freezing. It said like barbecue, beer, come in. So I went in to get out the cold.
Really? Oh, so we had a seminar on, did we?
Yeah, like literally it's the God's honest truth. And I just went in, met you, had a few beers.
We would normally kick people out, mate, if they were just trying to use us for a snag and a beer. Yeah, well, okay, cool. So you keep going, mate. I like this story.
So yeah, I just went in. We just sort of had a laugh, and I got your details, and just went through the process. Yeah, I think the more we were due to get married that year, weren't we?
No, not that year. I don't think. Maybe was it? I don't remember.
Just say yes, Demi.
Yeah.
Don't confuse James.
Yeah.
This is me and my world. Yeah.
And, So James, so you came in. It was your idea. Demi, what did he come home and say? Listen, I've had a free sausage. We should move to Australia. What did he say? How did it happen on your end?
I think we never wanted to live in England full time, and we were quite we like traveling. We like going here, there, and everywhere. So Australia was always something we said we wanted to look. We didn't want to look back and say we didn't try that. So when James came, I remember him coming back and being like, I'm going to try and do this thing, going to do my electrical course and everything. And we was like, cool, let's just go through the process. And we just kind of went through the process.
But you were so young at the time.
I know, so young.
And you never came to us on a working holiday visa or anything?
James had been before travelling. I had never stepped foot in Australia before I moved here.
Okay. Oh, so James, so you came to Australia on a tourist visa or a working holiday visa?
Tourist, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I got the working holiday, but it didn't work. I just, it was when the recession hit England.
Oh, yeah.
One of my closest mates was in Perth, and he just hit me up on one of the chats, and I said, yeah, I just booked a flight, and I was back, and just one-way flight, and just travelled about 3.5, 4 months.
Yep.
Didn't really think much of it, if I'm brutally honest. It was just a big party all the way around, just beach after beach. Yeah. That didn't give me any inkling. I thought I would move there at all.
Yeah. Just looked at it as like a holiday, because I think it's pretty remarkable now that there's lots of, obviously there's 10 years of things that have happened, but now you're citizens of Australia, you've got a family, you run your own electrical company. Demi's, busy with work and her career and everything like that. So much has happened in between. It's hard to it's hard to break up. I'm just really privileged, guys, because you guys were, I remember with the skills assessment side and everything like that. I mean, 10 years ago was a long time, and it's been good to be able to, stay mates with you guys. But James, so much happened, mate. So obviously, you did your skills assessment, you did your English test, you applied for your visa. What did at that point? How did the parents, deal with you guys being so young and saying you're going to move to Oz permanently?
My mum fully supported us. She was always says dream and achieve. So she kind of loved the idea. There was no hard feelings there at all. She was fully backed us basically. And I think the same with James obviously lived out of his home.
So I moved from Liverpool to London when I was 17. I just thought my parents just not it's just another Jimmy idea. I was just yeah, here we go. And but I think being that young, I don't know, no one really said anything, but I felt as though they thought we'd be back.
Yeah. So much has happened. I remember, James, we were stuck in quarantine, but in different areas and everything like that, obviously in different circumstances. But, you had to go back, and that would have been pretty hard part of your life, saying goodbye to loved ones.
Yeah, in the quarantine.
Yeah.
My father passed away, didn't he? That was during the COVID times.
Yeah.
That was the most difficult time of my life. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet it was, mate. And obviously you're being fully respect for your family and your dad and yourself and everything like that. But I remember us chatting in quarantine, and you sent me a picture of the quarantine room you were in. It was literally like a bedroom.
Yeah,
And you put what do you call those little bikes? What are the bikes you ride on?
A spin bikes. That was the second one. Yeah, the first one didn't have that, but I did it twice. Wes. Just tried to beat you.
I tried to beat me. So, was it fun? But okay, so but you had was this tiny little room, and then just a bike right next to the bed and between the wall. That was crazy. Where we had we had 2 balconies, and it was a bit very different. What state were you in when you did quarantine?
So I did New South Wales, and I also did Queensland. That one was in Brisbane. That was Queensland.
Yeah, so different. All right, so you do your English test, you do your skills assessment, you apply for the visa. Where did you first arrive?
So we landed, and we had an apartment we had an Airbnb in South Melbourne booked for a month, and that was all we had. And we had a suitcase each.
It's been mad.
We had one suitcase each. We had accommodation booked for a month, and all of our other stuff was being transported over on a boat in boxes. So, and we landed obviously December 3rd. So it was the holiday period, and we had to find jobs and accommodation within 3 weeks. So it was hectic to say the least. But probably one of my favourite stories is
there we go.
We went to the city and got a mobile phone each, a pay-as-you-go mobile phone, and then we went to a pub after, and the barman.
This is so we landed on the Tuesday, this on the Thursday.
And the barman started talking to us, and we explained that we'd just arrived, blah blah blah, and he offered James a job. Basically said, I've got work for you.
No, it was...
What's your mobile number? And I swear to God, Wes, James had got his mobile number an hour previously. And listed it off digit for digit perfectly. And I was like, how do you remember your phone number, but you can't remember my birthday and stuff?
It's work, mate. You wanted to work.
James. I'm out of here. So that was how he got his first work. It was just
what was it doing, James? What sort of work was it, mate?
Just electrical work. So it was. I was actually had a beer, and the guy next to me owned the pub, which I didn't realise. And he's like, "Oh, what you do?" I was like, "Electrician." And this phone got passed to me, and there was a guy on the other end of it, and he goes, "Electrician?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Start tomorrow?" I was like, "Yeah." I had a screwdriver and a drill. That's all I had.
That's all you need anyway, mate. That's
and I can't do attitude.
That's pretty good. Okay, so you took the job, and what about finding a place, Demi? How'd you just go about finding a place?
So we found a place on Gumtree, and it was a lease break in this incredible apartment block that had a gym, it had a rooftop with hot tubs and barbecues. And we went to look at it, and I was like, we are never going to get this. And I think just through sheer luck, because they were doing a lease break, we got it. So
wow.
we had this incredible little apartment in this really cool apartment block for about, how long were we there for? Like
4 years.
4 years, yeah.
Oh, really? So you stayed there? Okay, so let's go back to this roof bit. So it had what did it have on top of the roof?
Had like hot tubs and barbecue areas, and it overlooked the Formula One track.
Okay.
I think from the word go, I think it was just like the world, it was just go, 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 wasn't it? We were just high on life. It was like this apartment block. I think the amount of times we sat in, so the back of the building overlooked the entirety of the city skyline. The front of the building overlooked the bay, sunsets on the bay.
Yeah.
And we just couldn't believe, like
Yeah.
we kept on saying, if this was London where we were from, what would you pay for that? Like, it was just like incredible. I think that's really what helped us settle, really. It was just unbelievable,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. It sounds cool too, actually. So who got access to that? Because you never. Well, I was in the UK as well. I wasn't invited, I guess. But but what would you just be able to have people over and everyone rock up, or was it many people sharing it?
It's the highest bidder, Wes. This is the highest bidder.
The highest bidder.
Yeah, you got to make money, haven't you?
That's it. You have a can of Fosters up there for them. But okay, so. But honestly, how did it work? Like, if all the people were there on a Friday, could you all just rock up and would it turn into a party?
Yeah,
or was it...
literally, absolutely, yeah.
They were quite good, actually. The apartment block held like social events on the roof, so we were able to meet some neighbours, and
we had no mates.
Yeah. We had no mates at that point. Yeah. So we kind of mingled with the neighbours, and then.
No, but family visited, and they were just like. I remember my parents came out. They came out for Christmas, New Year.
Yeah,
and they seen the entirety of the firework display, which all the English will only see the Sydney display, but the Melbourne one was just incredible. Like every high-rise has fireworks on it.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, no, that's cool. So, all right. So so you're in there, you're working. You're working as a Sparky. Obviously, mate, you had to do your gap training and everything like that. How did your gap training, getting your license work back then? How long did it take you, mate?
It's a year, so it's 1 year. You have to be employed. You do the portfolio. I don't know whether is it still the same?
Pretty similar. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you just do and that's it. You get signed off. You do all the Victorian exams. Yeah, but that I felt that the what was difficult was getting employment, because obviously you land here and you're going for interviews and you go try and say, well, you are an electrician, but obviously in this country you're not. Yeah. Well, you're not. So
you're not licensed, you're not credited. So that's where you got to find the guy at the club.
Getting them people to trust you and go, but we got there. Most people
you did get there. Now you run a pretty good business, mate.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Very good business.
Yeah.
And Debbie, what about yourself? When you first arrived, what work were you doing?
So I worked in a clothes shop in the city. So I'm from an education background, but because we arrived on like a working holiday visa, it was quite hard for me to get work in the education setting on that visa.
Okay.
When I got PR, I was able to go into the education setting.
Okay, so you guys arrived on working holiday visas, then put in your permanent residency visa while you're here.
Yeah.
Well, we were waiting for the permanent to come through. So we came
on working.
Okay, so you lodged offshore, waited before you got your invite. You came, or when you got your invite, you submitted a working holiday visa and then waited for your visa to be granted.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's been 10 years, guys. My brain forgets a lot of these things. But okay, so that's good. So Demi, you were at the clothes shop, and then obviously let's talk kids and all that, because that would be an emotional side for you, Demi. Like having at this point, like how many years were you here before Leighton arrived?
So we got here. What did we get here?
Yeah, so we got married in the UK, didn't we? Well, should we start from the beginning?
No. Do you want to? No, we got here 2014, and I had Leighton August 2016.
Okay.
Not too long.
And
when was that the plan, to have a family like straight away or in Australia?
That was it, yeah. That was like we just couldn't picture anywhere to live in the UK really, like. And we just, I don't know, just raising kids here just was the
And this is still obviously, I know this, but just to confirm, and this is still in Melbourne. So you were living in this apartment and everything like that when Leighton was born.
Yeah, we lived in the apartment still. We lived there probably for how long? Maybe 2.5 years, 2 years before Ottie came along.
Okay, and how old's Ottie now?
She is 5.
And for those listening, Ottie is the most prettiest. I swear, Demi, she's the most. And you know this too. I think you know this. She is the most prettiest little girl you've ever seen. I've never seen someone go so tanned in my life.
Who does she look like, though, Wes?
Cheers, mate. I've got great genes.
I don't know. I think 100%. Yes. No, Demi. Sorry, Demi. It's 100% you. James, but I don't know. Obviously, we don't record these podcasts, but anyway, Ottie's just a little star. So okay. So you're in the apartment. So was Ottie part of the apartment as well?
No. So we moved out to a new rental in Chelsea when Ottie came along. Yeah.
And where would we say Chelsea is? What we say? That's sort of like more south, southeast, southwest. Whereabouts is that?
Oh gosh, what is that?
Southeast.
Southeast.
Main geography is touchy.
Yeah, no, that's all right. Well, it is. It's a nice place. Let's talk about that area. Why did you move out that area? What was the attraction?
God, what was the attraction?
Because you could get a 4-bedroomed house for the same price as a 2-bedroom apartment.
Yep.
Right next to the beach.
It was near the beach.
I was going to say, you've got the beach and everything.
Yeah, we had no affiliation to areas. We didn't really understand areas. But you just, with children come along, you just worked your way out and it was close to the beach, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And are you in the same house now?
No, so we bought a house in Chelsea Heights, which is just kind of a little bit further back from the beach.
Yeah.
And we bought the house just as COVID hit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And so, you guys were saying before that, you did want to have the children be raised in Australia.
Yeah.
And what life are you sort of given the kids now? Like, is it the life that you sort of felt that you wanted to, to achieve?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, they're super outdoorsy. They take part in lots of clubs. Yeah. They've got good friendships, and it's
just a great environment, and it's just what comes easy here is so good. Like some evenings in the summer, we go to the surf beach, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you drive sort of to the peninsula, which is about a 30-minute drive. You grab a pizza, sit on the beach, and just watch all the surfers. It's just it's just easy. Everything's just easy.
You've called me a few times when I'm out there with Jet having a surf.
Yeah.
I think you actually met us one time we went for a surf, didn't you?
Yeah, I did, yeah. That was a little super hidden gem.
It's so good, isn't it? Like you think Leighton and Jet are pretty much the same age. And you think, how good is it when you can I think Jet was 6 when I took him out for his first surf. It's just awesome. You just obviously on little tiny waves, but I don't know. It's just magic, isn't it? It's
like the best thing to watch, isn't it? As a parent, them outside just having such a good time.
Oh, it's so good,
we love it.
And it's free, and if they love it and they want to stay out there for ages. So I mentioned before how brown you guys are. Well, obviously me and Jet are gingers, so we have to put a lot of sunscreen on. We're full rashes. I even wear a wetsuit sometimes.
Just remove the fridge light as well.
Hey, the sun does get you, obviously. So yeah, cool. So all right. So you mentioned lots of clubs and everything like that. So give us an example. What sort of what are the kids doing?
Oh, we have a busy schedule.
It changes most years. Like one of my images when I moved here was like when we first moved here. You seen all the Nippers clubs, the lifesaver surfing clubs. That was like a pinnacle for me. So the moment I could put the children in that was like gold. Like seeing them in that environment was amazing. Yeah, amazing.
Were you doing triathlon? What were you doing, James? Were you doing triathlons or what were you doing?
Yeah, I was when I first moved over Wes, but we're talking about children, so all that stops, doesn't it?
Yeah, no fair play. Because remember, I got you training with one of my mates.
Yeah,
Sean.
It takes me back to Didn't you pop over one year?
I did. I came to visit, and I actually saw you guys at a pub.
What a pub that was! I've never seen them hips move so much. It's unreal.
Oh yeah, I can bring the dance moves on.
I was going to say the awkward dancing is our favourite, isn't it?
It was them white pants. It was them white pants he had for some reason.
Oh yeah. I was being a bit of a goose that night, but that's fine. That's not. Yeah, we can steer clear away from that. But yeah, but I think that was in Port Melbourne actually,
Port Melbourne, yeah.
where we matches. Yeah, that was good. And then the guy who I was crashing at his place was into the same sort of thing. So you guys become mates. So, all right. So do you reckon, Leighton, like obviously you got into all of that sort of fitness and health, and we've always been, I guess, healthy in that. But sport wise, what else is he doing, and what do you guys do together?
Yeah. So Leighton does soccer and swimming. Otti does netball and gymnastics and swimming.
Yep.
I do netball and a fitness club. And James, what do you do at the moment? Does some cycling.
Bring home the bacon.
Oh no, James has joined a soccer club as well. Soccer, football.
Yeah, so I still do the basics of the triathlons. I still, it's just a mecca in Melbourne for the.
Yeah,
that was a big reason I moved here, because the sport and facilities are just unbelievable.
Yeah, Melbourne's awesome for sport.
Oh, so good, yeah.
I think that's where we've got the edge over the other states. Like, it's just so good if you like your sporting and all that. Yeah, the water's a little bit colder, but yeah, the sport is good. So, Demi, you mentioned you're playing netball.
Yeah.
Netball's so Aussie. When being in the UK, when I spent a lot of time in the UK, did they play netball much in the UK?
Yes, we play netball in the UK. Played all through school and then played a little bit with some friends, and I left school. And I think that was one of the first things I did here to like make friends. I joined a netball team and I made some friends through that. So yeah, and I still play now, playing on Monday and Tuesday night.
I assume when you made the friends, you didn't introduce James for about 3 or 4 weeks just to make sure he couldn't wreck it for you. Is that right?
I'm not sure he ever got introduced, to be honest with you.
Yeah, fair play. So, all right. So you're doing the clubs and everything like that. 10 years is such a long, long time. Demi, your family, how do they go? Do you go back to see them? Do they mainly come here to see you?
So they just spent some time with us in February. They came over because it was my mum's 60th. So I was really lucky. My mum and sister came over and spent the month of February with us. They've been over about 5 times now. And we went back, not last Easter, the Easter before. I think our trips back home are getting slightly further apart. I think we prefer people to come here just because they get to have a little bit of a holiday, and obviously we're very lucky we've got a house with a pool, so they get to go in the pool and we get to show them our life here. And going home sometimes it's not a holiday, essentially it's busy going home to see everybody and catch up with friends and stuff, which we love doing. But,
I think it's right. If you've got a place where you can entertain from, and you guys have a place with a pool, and like you can entertain and have people over, it just makes it probably more relaxing. And also with kids, like I go back to, for work and family. My wife's obviously, Tara, and she's got the connection down there in Devon and that. So we love seeing them. But yeah, it is a lot far, like with 3 kids to jump on it. It gets expensive too. So I think sometimes people, if you plan it right, and February's hot in Australia, isn't it? Especially Melbourne.
So nice,
Yeah.
Like you're not going to get, you might get a bit of rain, but it's beautiful hot weather. My wife's family is coming over in April, and we were like, oh, it's getting a bit, it's not cold, but it's definitely swinging a little bit.
Yeah.
Come the end of March, it's different because, but from October till sort of February, the end of Feb, start of March, mid-March, it's hot.
Yes,
obviously we still get random days, like there's been like 20, a couple of days, 20 last week, I think, and then we might keep getting that, but we're going to get some winter months. So, I think I wouldn't be inviting the family over to Melbourne in the winter, especially from the UK.
No, and it's nice because obviously if they come over in our summer, it's the UK winter, so they kind of miss a big chunk of that horrible cold UK weather, don't they?
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
Demi, you mentioned before that you had you were in an education background. So you arrived, you worked at the clothes shop, obviously had the kids and everything like that. So you're in education now. What role are you in at the moment?
So my role is I'm a disability and inclusion leader at a secondary school, which basically means I kind of oversee students with additional learning needs and I support them getting funding.
Yep.
So I work quite closely with a number of parts of the Department of Education, I suppose, and just work with children and families to make sure they're having really successful, positive educational experiences.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. It sounds good. And was it hard? Did you have to retrain or get further qualifications to take that role?
I didn't. I work in quite a unique setting, I suppose. So I had quite a lot of experience in the UK. I worked in non-teaching roles in the UK since I was like 20. So I brought quite a lot of that experience to my role here, and I've been able to do quite a lot of training on the job. And I have I work for an amazing team of people who have put a lot of support into me. So yeah, I didn't have to retrain at all, but I think if I could retrain, it probably would be beneficial at some point if I wanted to expand on my career. Yeah. But I'm not sure that I want to do that. So yeah, I'm happy where I am, what I'm doing.
And the role you were doing in the UK, was that similar to what you're doing now?
It was based around students with additional needs, but it was more pastoral care. So I oversaw kind of key stage 3, so year 7, 8 and 9. So less students with disabilities, but still more in that wellbeing pastoral space. Okay.
So you got a bit of a fair, with the schooling system, I guess, in some elements. Do you find many differences between the UK schools and Australian schools?
Don't get us started.
We've got to get us started, mate. It's what people want to hear. What's the difference, Demi?
When I first came here, I found it. I was kind of like, it's not very academic, and it's not, not what my experience of the UK was. But now I've got my son is obviously Leighton's in grade 2 and Ottie just started prep, so like reception. I've really changed perspective on it. I think over here it's more about the whole learner, and they're really about social and emotional growth as well as academic growth. And I really like that aspect of it, where it's less, what grades have they got, and more about the person they're becoming.
Okay.
The school that I work in, like I said, is quite a unique setting, so I won't talk too heavily about that. But there are a lot of options, I think, for students who are academic or have more vocational pathway. There's schools over here definitely work around the student as opposed to the student having to work around the school. So that's
we hear that a lot, actually. Like, it's kind of, I like the way you worded it then. I think you do have a bit of choice over here, and you will find your patterns. Even some of the colleagues I work with, are migrants and all that. I like to employ lots of people, actually, that we've migrated. It's nice to do that. But yeah, they go through that, and they'll always mention how the kids sort of finding their feet. They're getting a chance to find their feet maybe a little bit more. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, definitely. And both of our kids have been really well supported by the primary school that they're in. They've both had certain barriers that they face, and the schools have just been incredible with just talking to us like normal parents, like humans.
Yeah.
Being understanding our perspective of things, and really working as a team around what suits our children best. And that's what I'm the school that I'm in, that's what they definitely do. So I see a lot of posts actually about people concerned about how children with disabilities or additional needs are supported over here.
Yep.
And I think there's a really good system over here with the NDIS system and the support that's given in schools. There's definitely a network of care around the kids.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome. So let's have a little bit of a recap. So you guys are young, 24 and 26, thinking about making the move and everything like that. You come over, James, you get a job straight away. Demi, you start in the clothes shop. You're in this beautiful apartment for a few years, have these awesome kids and everything like that. There must be some challenges, James, setting up your business and everything like that. Is it easy as just, advertising? Is it easy to get work when you set your business up? Is there challenges with that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there is. Because obviously there's no network here. I was always competing against, in my mind, I've been here for 5 minutes, where you've got companies that have lived here the entirety of their lives, got their family networks, their sport and club networks. That's where a lot of it stems from.
Yep.
The family and the clubs that they're in. So I'm always competing, and still am, really. But yeah, if you just work hard and put yourself out there often enough and just be honest and friendly, that's just how I've developed relationships, really.
No, that's good, mate. And what sort of electrical work are you doing?
I do it all. So it's a funny one. I set up the new face mask factory that I was doing for COVID, which is over the other side of the west of Melbourne. So I did the infrastructure for that. Who was supplying all the hospitals, all the supermarkets. So it can go from that. And recently I just did a restaurant out your way, Wes. So it can go from industrial, domestic. Yep. I do the whole spectrum where...
Even a couple of lights in my garden, mate, setting up the barbecue area.
Yeah, it's on our whole house.
See, I do everything for a beer. It's just what it is.
Yeah, no, good man. Well, actually, shark bait. We do refer to James as shark bait. He thinks he can catch fish and everything like that.
Oh, yes.
James and Demi actually were down this way. I think they took you. I think you were down. It must have been a bit over 2 months ago. A few months ago, and everything like that. And you came in. What were you doing? You were just down for a swim or a surf or something?
Beach, weren't we? I got
a whiff of something cooking on a barbecue, and
so James came over, and we were having. It was a long weekend, and you were like, just what are you up to? I'm like, I'll pop over. I've got a few people around, and I put I think it was about 8 kilos of meat on the spit. James has never. I said to James, I'm like, oh James, I'm putting a spit on. You guys couldn't stick around for too long because you're off to see the streets. That's right, Demi?
The streets, yeah.
Yeah, you're off to see the streets. And I asked James to come to the shed with me, or the garage, and we pulled out this big a spit, a rotisserie spit, and I just picked it up from the butcher. So it was about 8 kilos of, what was it? It was chicken and lamb. And then what we do is we have make our own wraps.
Yeah.
So I got the coals going and everything like that. James was so fascinated with it. That night he kept asking me to send him photos. So there I am. I'm sending him photos of all this meat that we made, and there was so much left over. Anyway, a couple of weeks later, James goes, look, and I was telling him, you go to Bunnings and they cost you like $80. That's it for the whole spit, battery thing, everything like that. You put a bit of meat on it, you get the coals. Anyway, James sends me a picture. Not that long ago, and forgot that when you put the meat on, you meant to actually burn all the black of the coals first, because that's where
it was. Wes, I just couldn't wait, mate. Just get it in me.
So James sends me a picture saying, "Check out this," and all I can see is a black coals cooking on this meat, smoke going everywhere. Oh. You almost mastered the spit, mate. But have you learned anything else? Have you learned any other Aussie little? I wouldn't say a spit's an Aussie tradition, but it is very popular.
We've learned how to snorkel.
You learn how to snorkel, yeah?
Oh, so, right, this has got nothing to do with swimming.
What happened, Demi? You got to bring this one in too.
Do you know what a snorkel is?
It's a snorkel?
It's like the drinking snorkel thing.
I don't think it's...
Is it not?
No.
Oh.
What
is it? Is it like where you put the...
You put like the Alco Pop in the thing and then twist it and it goes down really fast?
Oh, yeah. We just called it a shotgun.
Oh, well, I think that's...
Like, we actually bought this. So we're getting involved with, like, locals now with all the...
the mums.
The mums of the school. And so we went around. We got invited to a barbecue at a friend's house. And they just ran. And they whipped out the snorkel.
Like a snorkel you put for pool? Or is this new special alcohol
goes
snorkel?
On top of any alcoholic beverage.
We're going to have to send you a picture of the snorkel,
yeah.
Aren't we? Yeah.
And then they were all doing it, and then they handed it to us. I was just like, can't let England down here. We'll have to smash in a couple of...
Oh, yeah. I think that's something we've been taught by the Aussies, how to snorkel.
Demi had never seen one before, so she thinks it was like an Australian tradition.
I hadn't either. They came on again and we did it.
We used to put a wine cask on on the old clotheslines that spin around. Australia invented this clothesline that spins around. It's quite popular. And you used to put it on the corner and you'd sort of spin it around, and then whoever it landed on had to drink from that. I guess there's lots of drinking games. It's a bit of a drink. I think Australia it's that outside sort of culture and everything like that. And Demi, you hit a really good point then with the school friends and everything like that. That's so key, isn't it? If you've got a good group of school parents and sporting clubs, it definitely makes that transition a lot easier from, I guess from being new to sort of being accepted. I know for us, we're only a couple of months back in an area that I'm an Aussie, but I've never been down this area. And straight away, my wife, she's in. We're involved in lots of sporting groups with the kids, and you just get to meet so many people.
Yeah, we've made a really
So good,
strong connection with we've got Irish, Scottish, English, Australian. Like James had a birthday last weekend, Wes, and obviously I think there was like 30 adults and 25 kids there. We just all went out and had dinner and just it's just
the effort they make.
Like-minded people, like just so all about having a good time.
Oh, you make me feel guilty now for not rocking up, James.
Guilty,
but I was and still am a little bit ill. But and you actually went to one of my favourite places as well.
I know, and it was great. The food was really good, wasn't it?
It's so good, yeah. It's just brilliant, yeah. Like really good. It's just great, like everywhere. Yeah, it's good.
It sounds like you guys are living, a pretty good life here. But in 10 years, like what would be the challenges, guys? You would have had some challenges. Obviously, did you get homesick at all, Demi and James?
Yeah, I got, I think, horrendously homesick after Leighton was born. I felt the loneliness.
Yep.
There more than I've ever felt it before because I had no network, and it was just me and this, like, my baby.
And you were so young too, Demi. How old were you when you had Leighton?
I was 26, 27, just turned.
Jesus, so young.
Yeah, and I just.
How old are you now?
How old am I now? 35.
You're beating now. So it'll be 28, 29.
No, I was 28 or 29. I'm sure I was 27. Was I 27? I can't
28.
remember Wes. I think I was 27.
Still young.
But just like the loneliness of not having that network, not having somebody's house to go to for a cup of tea. And James would come home from work and I'd be like, oh, who'd you talk to? I was like, tell me everything, because I had no other connection during the day.
Yeah.
So that period was probably the most challenging, I'd say, for me.
Yeah.
And how did you, apart from talking with James and doing that, how did you try and get over it, Demi? What helped you get over that bit of loneliness? Because I'm sure lots of people listening are going to probably go through that stage.
Yeah, I joined a mums group. So you get put in a mums group when you have your first baby here, and you go to like little mums group meets every week or whatever. Yeah. And I made quite a good couple of friends through that. And I went back to work quite quickly, just teaching an after-school drama club. So every Tuesday I'd get out of the house for, 2.5, 3 hours and interact with, kids again. But still, it was just a little bit of freedom and me time and just earning my own money, which was really important to me.
Yeah.
And then as Leighton grew up, I took him, started going to swimming lessons, and then met some more mums through swimming lessons. And after swimming lessons, we'd go for a coffee or whatever. And so it's like slowly but surely. But I think what was really important was putting yourself out there a little bit, which I think as English people, we're not very good at that. Because I remember talking to my friend back home and she was like, how are you going to make friends? And I was like, I don't know, because all of your friends are like school friends. So it was kind of like, even though you feel a bit awkward, it's just kind of like, I'll go for the coffee or I'll go to the park or whatever. And just kind of putting yourself out there a little bit more than you would, because
look, I think you guys are really brave. I think coming over so young. I was talking to a guy today, and when he's asking questions about his skills assessment. I asked his age. He's in WA, and he was born in 2001. I was like, wow, how can kids migrate in 2001? And you think, wow, I'm getting older, but he's 23, and he's used his work and holiday visas, and he's like adamant now he's staying permanently. I'm thinking, what a kid! Like, he's 20.
Yeah, great.
Been over here, loved it. Single, just in WA, and wants to extend his visa. And to be honest, he's got enough points, and he'll make a good go of it. But you guys is just as I wouldn't say as impressive there, Sharkbait, but just as impressive with the way that you guys went about it, because it cost a lot of money to get there. So how did you guys, at such an early age, how did you fund it all? Like the visas and stuff, skills assessments and everything? Was it just savings or
just work?
Savings.
Yeah. Like I think before I left, because we got married just before we left.
Yeah, we got married in the October, and then we flew over in the December.
Yeah, so I just I think before we left, I went about 7 weeks without a day off.
Yeah.
I was just working weekends in central London. Yeah, just every day, just every single day. Just
grafting to save and everything like that. So, all right. So, James, you got any tips there at all for any tradie that's looking to, to come down to Victoria or anywhere in Australia, mate? What would you recommend?
Tips? Oof.
Yeah, any tips for tradies.
Tradie tips.
Just put yourself out there. Just, I think Australians don't take offense to this, whereas don't like working because they in the big companies they have every other Monday off, and if you're just a good worker, good honest worker, yeah, you'll get a job.
Did you ever do the union sites?
Yeah, that's what I did to get because you have to get that employment to do the.
So you just said you get every second Monday off. Just talk a little bit because that to anyone that was like what every second Monday off, but you sort of threw it out there like but you get every it's like a pain.
That's the dream. Yeah.
How did it? Let's just run through that. How did you get every second Monday off?
Basically, you'd be the highest paid electrician, I reckon, on planet Earth. And you get every second Monday off. Yeah, it's called an RDO. So you work. Is it?
It's a rostered day off, isn't it?
Yeah, you work.
Yeah. So instead of working 38 hours, 36 hours.
Instead of working 40 hours, you work 40 hours, but you get paid 38, and they bank them 2 hours, and then then you have that
36, and they bank the 4 hours each week, correct, and you get a Monday off. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the unions. If it rains, you go home. If it gets above 35 degrees, you go home. Doesn't sound too bad, really, does it, when you say it out loud?
No, it is good. But I did a stint of that too, but it becomes frustrating when you just want to crack on and get work done sometimes, doesn't it? Everyone's running around looking at their phones, complete randoms are walking past you, like the solar plasterer is walking past you, clisting his Finch. It's 34 degrees, mate. It's nearly 10 o'clock. It's 34. And you're like, all right, mate.
If you see the forecast for the next day, all the forecast saying it's going to be 37. No work is done that day because everyone's just watching the temperature and just shouting around the building site. It's 32. It's 33. Pack it up, boys. We're off.
Yeah, the celebration. I remember we were on a union site and they stopped us working because there wasn't enough chairs to. So they have a board of how many, the company puts out how many people they've got. Someone went around and counted the chairs in the rooms where we eat. Not that we ate all at the same time. There was like 4 chairs short. So we striked. Then the builders were like, well, if you're going to strike over that, we're not paying you. So then we striked over the fact we weren't paying you. And I've never played more games of bloody Uno in my life. You got grown men. It was felt like I was in prison or something. You got all these men just sitting there in their hard hats and everything. And as soon as they knew there was a strike, the experts, these union people, were bringing out, there was Monopoly being played, games of chess. Like we just played Uno. There was poker. And you just sit down and you just do nothing. Anyway, that's what you get on some union sites, guys. And I think it's for those people that like to do that, it's actually really good. I know I've got a lot of friends that do all that sort of stuff still. James and Demi, and they actually have the companies put on like family days and everything as well, where they'll book literally like Ferris wheels and all that sort of stuff, and they have it for a couple of days and it's all free for the kids and everything, and their whole thing is we might laugh about it, but their whole thing is no one can get hurt or work at or get hurt or die, whatever, on site. And they go to all these levels to protect it, but they also want to make sure that you're getting paid, a reasonable amount as well. I think we just don't know how work gets done, but it does eventually, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think that the work ethic is just they're here to live.
I think there's really good work-life balance.
That's
There is
just
a really healthy work-life balance here. Yeah.
They don't
Except for me speaking to you guys at 9 p.m. on a Monday night.
Look, that was James's fault because he can't organise anything.
Invoices.
No, that's fine. That's fine. But James and Demi, I want to thank you guys so much because as a friend, I know every time that I've come down to Melbourne when I was away and caught up with you guys, and it's so nice to be able to see you guys socially. But it's also been a pleasure being throughout that whole migration journey because I know, James, we did the skills assessment, your gap training, your visas, got all that sorted, and to share those moments with you was really good. And thanks again for making the time to join this podcast. And I wish you guys all the best, in Australia for forever long. And congratulations again.
Oh, well, we just want to say thank you to you, Wes, because without you, none of this would have been possible.
Yeah, without that poster on that wall outside that bus stop, I would not be here, and that is a dead set fact.
Yeah, but no, just for like the Down Under Centres, like continued support through the whole time we've been here, and we know if we've ever got any issues or little wins, we have you.
Yeah, it was just so good. it's
We love you.
Well, just for the record, guys, you can stop just rocking up whenever you like. No, I'm only saying that was never part of our service, but it's nice to be able to, it's always good. I think part of the community that we have, guys, listening is we do have meetups and everything like that, and you do matter as clients. We say it in every episode, migration's emotional. That's why we have meetups and everything like that, and try and, I guess, connect as a network is, and then, come together to put these podcasts on. So you guys get, like James and Demi, they're real. What a story. So young, moving over, 2 kids, been here for 10 years, your own business.
When you said 10 years, I just like it's crazy. Like it's generally like mind-boggling.
But it's nice to reflect, isn't it? It's nice to look back and reflect on the journey and how far we've come.
So much has happened. Yeah.
Well, good on you guys. Well, thanks again. And guys, we'll catch you on the next podcast. That was James and Demi Clancey. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. Bye-bye.